Welcome back. In Lecture 8, we discussed managing sustainably. We looked at ethics and corporate social responsibility.
So we had several learning points. The first one is a key driver for that is business reputation. And we emphasize as well the importance of brands. Brand is a key asset for the organization, and if you damage your reputation, you can damage your brand, which is invaluable, because that's something that can lead your organization into the future. So business reputation is a key driver. It's a key reason why business will become more ethical, more sustainable in their approach. It's a mix then that derived from the fact that what they are trying to do is to find the right mix between then self-interest and the public good. And one way to align these two interests is say, well, it's your interest to protect your reputation, and so to do the right thing. So by playing on the reputation effect, because brands are very conscious that they have to save their to preserve their reputation, there's an automatic alignment where they have to do the right things, because otherwise it's risky for the brand. And what does doing the right thing mean? Well, obviously it's following the law. I mean, an organization that breaches the law usually has bad press and is unlikely to be in the best conditions for doing business. But what ethics, CSR, sustainability is asking for can be more than just abiding with the law. It can be doing the right things according to the moral values of a broader public, of what stakeholders think are the right things. So ethics is about CSR, business ethics, sustainability is about doing more than what the law forces you to do, and doing something that's good for society.
And what you're saying, Emmanuel, is actually in contrast to the idea of Milton Friedman, who said that the only responsibility of business is to maximize profits, so long as they're acting within the framework of the law. But society, it appears, actually expects businesses to do more than just follow the law.
Yeah. So business ethics is something that appeared surface in the 80s. Let's place ourselves into that context. What happened in the 80s? There was a series of big corporate disasters. The most dramatic and tragic one was the Bhopal accident, with thousands of people died, and pollution and malformation of kids up to these days. So it's still happening, and it happened in the 80s. Now, at the same time, we had liberal governments in many countries around the world, including the most powerful one, the US, but also in UK and any others. And so the question was, how do we align the idea that we can't let this type of disaster happen with a neoliberal idea where business should be able to do what's good for them? And the solution was to say, well, it has to be self-regulated. Business has to come with their own way of regulating ethics, and that's when the idea of corporate social responsibility happened. However, we have to contrast two things: one that is corporate greening, and a true sustainable approach.
So one of the important ideas around this then is what actually gets measured. Traditionally, business has measured the bottom line in terms of profitability. But as organizations shift towards a more socially responsible approach, then they're measuring not just the profits and losses, so the financial outcomes, but also the social impacts, so as they relate to people, and environmental impacts. And some organizations have a zero emissions or a zero footprint policy, so they are emission zero, and that's accounting for their environmental impact.
So the idea behind that is that we should move from corporate greening, which is basically paying lip service to the idea that we should be sustainable, to creating business models that actually are triple bottom line, so that can deliver in terms of carbon footprint, in terms of social impact, and economically. And if we're innovative, and we have seen examples of that, then we can make savings, improve our costs, while saving the environment and being socially responsible. if we factor in the importance of the reputation effect, well, by finding this balance, we'll also contribute to a better value for the brand. And that's the idea of the triple bottom line.
There are traditional theories of ethics that managers can and should draw from to inform their understanding or make sense of a decision that must be made. We are confronted with ethical dilemmas every day. One is deontological. So deontology as an approach to ethics says that we do things because it's the law or it's the rules. And traditionally, we have some basic moral principles. Be truthful, be kind, don't steal, don't murder. But this approach to ethics doesn't account for complexities. What about if you have to lie in order to save a life? So, your rules might be in conflict here, and how do you apply this? A strict deontological approach actually leaves you in a difficult situation there. So then another approach is utilitarianism. It says, let's look at consequences. Which is more important, saving the life or telling the truth? And you might decide, okay, I'm going to tell the lie in order to save a life here, considering the consequences of what will come from this. And so utilitarianism, looking at consequences, in fact trying to achieve the greatest good for the greatest number of people. This gets applied then organizationally as stakeholder theory, which tries to achieve the best outcome for not just shareholders, but also suppliers and customers and employees and the environment and society more broadly. So it's a much more sophisticated approach to thinking about ethics in business or within the organizational context, as opposed to a mere just follow the rules. Even within the organization, a bureaucratic follow the rules, the code of conduct. Finally, then a third approach is virtue ethics, and it talks about the ethics of character. And so when you're in the ethical dilemma, you say, what would a person of virtue do in this situation? How would a person of character address this concern? And so it's about trying to cultivate character of the individual and within ourselves as well, in order to practice ethical judgment according to a given context.
So when we bring all these ideas together, we find a solution to a key debate, which is to say, well, according to stakeholder theory, we could see business ethics or business sustainability as an oxymoron. I mean, business is there to make money. Don't ask them to be ethical. That's none of their problem. They should abide to law. Well, actually, there might be an interest in business model that will create this connection between business and ethics. And obviously that will work if business derives some profit from balance their profit from it. But it's not necessarily in contradiction.
This can leave organizations, so when we talk about ethics and business, it can leave organizations sometimes in a dilemma. Yeah, so one of the dilemmas is the terminology itself. Business and ethics, is that an oxymoron? Do those two terms fit together, or are they always going to be in conflict? That conflict is also represented in the idea of a catch-22 situation. Sometimes when business tries to do the right thing and be ethical, they are accused of just greenwashing or paying lip service or just engaged in marketing. At other times, when they're actually, at other times, businesses do in fact just pay lip service. So it's almost as if their business can be damned if it does and damned if it doesn't do anything. I would say, in all, it's better to be damned for trying to do the right thing than to be damned for doing the wrong thing.
Thank you.